This is Lord Thaddeus Gray. What's this one going to be about? Well, first off, I want to hope all of you guys who watch me and who are part of the DW family, or even those on the outside, have had a wonderful holiday. Because to be honest with you, this last year has sucked. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's brought me some very awesome opportunities and everything else. I'm grateful for that, but I'll tell you right now, seeing the things that are going on around me, just everything that's going on in our society. Just gonna leave it at that. I'm not in the mood to have this channel struck down. Leave it at that. But I'm gonna be glad that this year is over, and I'm actually dreading the next year that's coming. Joy. But I'm gonna get to it. This one is gonna be about. I'm not gonna say it's a cryptid, but it's definitely something. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna put a little bit of my own knowledge into this thing. So it's going to be probably a little bit of a longer than average video. Now, I'm not going to say my knowledge is extensive on this thing, because it ain't. It's far from it, actually. I'm talking about the Shadowman. I'm going to go ahead and just put out my own experience, which I've mentioned a couple of times on, a couple of the shows for the DW family, but mainly not too much detail. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. This happened probably close to, I would say, maybe about a little over a year ago, about. Give or take a few months. I'd just been signed up to do what I do now, so you can kind of use that as a timetable. Maybe even a little bit before. I can't remember everything, but I do know that this is what happened. I'm going to give you a heads up on where I used to live. I'm not going to put the exact location because, number one, the manager or the landlord, who I'm still on good terms with, would murder me while I'm awake, not in my sleep, and I wouldn't blame him for that, number one. Number two, there are a lot of people who would not want their lives turned upside down by some morons who want to be ghost hunting. I'm not calling any of my observers or viewers morons. I don't mean it like that, but I ain't needing them to be under that kind of heat. Much less something bad happened to the tenants or people I formerly called friends. Excuse my French, fuck that, that ain't happening. But I'll tell you kind of a little bit about the history of it, and you can kind of deduce for yourself. It was in Houston, and the place is very old. This place is by an old burial ground. A lot of people who move and live in this place, they're transients, people who have transitional periods in life, they come down on hard times. People with mental illness, even like myself. I was living there. Of course, you also have people that, were in poor health or whatever their issues were. Many people died there, point blank. Matter of fact, in the place I was staying before I changed rooms, actually it had someone die right before I moved in. Yeah, I know, right? It was literally a paranormal hotspot for all kinds of activity. And that's where it comes to the Shadowman. This thing, I was sleeping, I was trying to. I don't sleep easy. I mean, I sleep a lot, but I don't sleep easy. It takes a while for me to get to where I actually enter REM sleep. It takes several hours. So anyway, what was going on with this is I felt eyes on me. This happened actually twice. The first time, I used to have a jacket and a hat, that I'd hang on a hook right over my door. So to me, that wasn't a big thing. That's what I thought. It was a trick of the light. The second time, though, I knew I was being truly watched. This happened like a couple of weeks after the first time. And I literally saw a face through the hat that was hanging there. It was almost as if a shadowy being had put on my coat and it was literally looking at me through the cap that was hanging up there, and there was a face. It looked like a large African-American man, basically a big black dude. Thin, real thin. Emaciated, actually. Not emaciated, maybe a little much, but, lanky. Lanky. Basically a tall, good-sized dude. And he was just looking down at me. I could see and sense his presence. And I told this dude, I was like, look, man, I ain't got time for all this. I'm going back to sleep. I acknowledge you. That's it. I wish you well, and I'm sorry for whatever happened to you that made you in this state. But as for everything else, that's it. I'm going back to bed. Sure enough, I did, and I haven't been really pestered by that thing since. Now, I've heard of other people telling their stories about the Shadowman. I figured it would be best for me to really put that in detail about what I've been through, even though I've mentioned it a few times. Now, what exactly is the Shadowman, or a shadow being? I am not sure. I believe that there is definitely something to do with train yards and railways. For some reason, they seem to be connected to that, at least from my own personal experience. My first major breakdown, as you guys know, was an attempted possession upon my person by something. Where was that? That was actually a place I used to live off and on, literally by a train yard. Something to think on. So I do believe that that has something to do with whatever the hell these shadow beings are. Though I think they're demonic. I can't tell you. I believe spirits manifest in different ways in the human brain, according to the person's personality and their core deep within them. It's going to be processed and translated in different ways. I'm not going to say there is this one source for what the Shadow Man is. Let's say, it's fallen, it's demonic, it's a ghost. No, I'm not going there. I believe there are many origins for these things. And putting this a label on one is stupid. Sorry, you guys know I speak kind of from the hip here, and that's just how it is. It's foolish to try to just classify and put in one box. It doesn't work that way. I do believe that many of these beings are entities that just simply didn't move on. I've talked to a couple of people. One is actually a man I consider a friend. It's kind of a shout out to him to an extent. How you doing, band one? But anyway, he told me something very interesting. He believes that basically a lot of these are simply spirits sent by whatever good or evil source to represent what they want to talk to you about. And of course, they're going to take the form of someone that you're comfortable with, or maybe something else, to kind of get you to be able to link up with them and hear what they have to say. And that's possible too. I believe that's very possible. And I mean that. I don't know exactly if that's true or not, but I definitely respect his opinion, and it's something I've listened to, because it's very possible that is the truth. The thing is, I've seen too many things just to say it is this or it is that. I don't know. And what I do know is I believe also that it's possible that the shadow people, what we want to call them, are beings that are possibly trying to reach out from another dimension. I believe there is that aspect. Now, if the dude that was watching my ass sleep, I don't know if he had a kink for watching fat bald dudes sleep. If that's the case, well, more power to him. I'm glad I wasn't involved too much in that. But in all seriousness, I think the dude was someone who had passed on and was curious about what was going on, in that environment. That's what I sensed from him. I didn't sense hostility or evil. I sensed curiosity. He was just watching. Now, I've had similar experiences later on, Matter of fact, not too long ago when I was sleeping, I was in and out of consciousness, I actually felt mist coming out of my mouth. I didn't think it was being, I told you guys about that being of mist that tried feeding on me in the hospital years ago. That wasn't the case with this time. It was simply just transference of energy out into the air. Now, you can call me crazy if you want, but like I said, I'm still having some weird occurrences. But they're not the overt, demonic, scary, awful stuff that I've been dealing with. Knock on wood, that don't happen again. But I just kind of want to put that out there, what I think the shadow people are. I think there are many variants for them. I think they're simply something we don't understand. I'm not going to go out there and say, oh God, they're evil. When I do know that while that is the case with many of them, I know that for a fact. I know too many people, Big Homie including, he's from New Orleans. He knows these things. Let me tell you, New Orleans itself is a city rife with supernatural. Houston's loaded, baby, let me tell you. Nothing like New Orleans. So that man is going to, so I'm just saying, UW is going to know a lot more about that because, that's his backyard. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think he's right on that. There's definitely some kind of supernatural, maybe even evil or dark connection to some of these things. But I don't believe that's the case with all. Just gonna leave it at that. I mean, there is no doubt that some of these beings have some kind of very negative aspect to them. I'm just saying, with the one that I felt, it definitely gave me the creeps and made me uncomfortable, because who wouldn't be by watching some spirit, watching them sleep? I mean, what the fuck? Especially when it's like it's literally taking the form and sitting in front of stuff that's hanging on my damn door. Just saying. But I just kind of want to put that out there, I mean, if you guys have any other opinions on what these things could be, like I said, I believe firmly that there are many things. It's not just one classification of some spirit or demon or anything of fallen nature. I think it's more than that. There's more variety, more versatility to something going on with that. That's all I'm going to say. If you guys have any opinions, hit me up in the comments, because believe me, that's something I would actually love to know about. Just going to leave it at that. Well, I'd like to hear y'all's experiences, y'all's encounters about something like this. And it's not just being the producer for the Dark Waters family. I'm actually intrigued on these kind of stories. And if you guys would desire to have your situations with the Shadowman or any other kind of being like that known, you guys know my email. It's westvic@dogmancams.com. You also know who I am in Facebook. I don't exactly hide too much. I do keep a low profile, but you guys already know I'm always behind the scenes doing what I do. Hit me up. I'll make sure you get the chance to share your story. Be it cryptid, spiritual, whatever. You guys be blessed, be safe, and I truly hope you guys had a wonderful holiday.